and to call for the Rhode Island legislature to do the right thing and make civil rights, civil marriage rights, valid and legal in Rhode Island for everybody.
Yeah.
Representative Frank Perry here in the crowd. He is here, Jane, all the time. I also want to recognize marriage equality board members. Our chair, Joy Denderly, is here. Peter Canal is here. Kelly Smith is here. I saw Rich Hutt. Eugene Dyszlewski from our religious coalition for marriage equality is also here. He's on our board, visiting board member. And I want to ask Gene to come up and say a few words about his coalition supporting the Religious Coalition for Marriage Equality in Rhode Island.
I'm pleased to represent 110 clergy and religious leaders in the state who are in favor of marriage equality. The question we ask is, why not? We believe that we've all been made in the image and likeness of God, that we all have dignity, we all deserve respect. We believe that same-sex marriage is God's will. We believe it's God's will for California as well as our sexual orientation is a natural characteristic of our humanity. What's there about natural law that they don't get? It is natural for us to be oriented in a particular way. So for our marriages, which is all about having committed, loving relationships, if the marriage is going to be authentic, morally correct, it's got to be genuine. And a genuine marriage has to fit your orientation. So it makes no sense to us that people are condemning this, that folks are negating this. My sense is, if your politics brings you to a place where you negate people, where you marginalize people, you're wrong. If your philosophy leads you to a place where you are marginalizing people and condemning and negating people, you're wrong. Think again. If your religious beliefs bring you to a place where you're negating, condemning, and marginalizing people, think again, you're wrong. God does not condemn what God has declared good, and that's all of us. Can I hear an amen?
Amen!
Everybody has to get involved. You need to find a way to have conversations with everybody that you come in contact with at work, at home, on your street, at your club, and tell people why marriage equality is important to you. That is how marriage equality will happen in Rhode Island. I see Mayor Cicilline.
Yeah.
Welcome.
I just want to first say I know this is I think an incredibly difficult day for our whole community, but I think what we have always been in this country and in this world is a beacon for equality and all things that are right. And this is one step back on a long journey in this country. We've made enormous progress in our fight toward equality. We just have to redouble our efforts. I think as Kathy was mentioning, it's really important in our own state that we share with our family members and loved ones how important marriage equality is to Rhode Island, how important marriage equality is to our community. I just finished reading a really wonderful statement that was issued by Gavin Newsom in California about the importance of redoubling efforts in California to bring equality to our largest state. There have been lots of people that have worked very hard on this issue from the time I was in the General Assembly. It will continue to be a long journey, but this is a day to remember that it will be very think today was obviously a very bad setback, but it's also the beginning of what I see as an expanded, fired-up movement for marriage equality, for civil rights for all people. Like the passage of Proposition 8 was actually a defeat, but it actually spurred people to action. And I want to talk about that a little bit. I think, first of all, today's decision is going to raise questions. Because, first of all, how can you tell us that it was fine to have civil rights last year, but it's not this year? Right? How can you move back? People are asking that question, especially when after Prop 8 passed, you have Vermont, Iowa, Maine, New Hampshire, kind of Connecticut, all saying marriage equality, right?
Yeah.
Secondly, the decision was a little bit mixed. Very interesting, because the 18,000 marriages that happened last year are still valid, which is good, and that's going to raise questions. Why are those marriages valid, but more can't happen, right? These are some of the questions that I think are going to start to be raised. I think what we need now is an activist movement that actually gets out in the streets and puts pressure on a number of politicians to start moving. In our state, I think it starts with that. I've decided that carcieri, by the way, is the worst possible swear in Italian. I really want to swear somebody out, call them that. It starts there. I think it starts with some of the Democrats in the General Assembly who are holding it up, right? We need to come out in large numbers and put pressure on them. So I think the lessons of history are that it's activist movements, people in large numbers on the streets that make things move. Think about what happened with Proposition 8 to begin with. When that was passed, and I think honestly it was a shame that it was passed, and I think a lot of things could have been done to stop it. When it was passed, people got out in the street in mass numbers. They weren't deflated. And frankly, I think those mass numbers are why the 18,000 marriages are still valid. Why did it start in the first place? Because as Mayor Cicilline had noted, Gavin Newsom started in 2004 giving out marriage licenses, right? That provides a basis and it gives people a place to start. I think we should see if we can do that here. If Mayor Cicilline could actually start giving marriage licenses in the state without a DOMA, maybe that would put pressure on the General Assembly. Coming out of tonight, I think we should see this as a starting point. And I think we're all feeling this. That, oh my God, Rhode Island, how could it be the last state in New England not to have it? What are we thinking? This is ridiculous. Let's actually start working to make this a reality as soon as possible. Let's build an activist movement that can actually put the pressure. Support marriage equality. That's great. That means we should be marching forward. When interracial marriage was made legal by the Supreme Court in the 60s, the majority actually opposed it, right? We have a much better basis to move forward for marriage equality right now. So to that end, the ISO, Marriage Equality Rhode Island, and any other group that would like to join us, we're going to have an organizing meeting next Tuesday, June 2nd at 7 p.m. at the Beneficent Church over on Way Boston Street. If you'd like to be part of that organizing, talk to me, talk to Kathy, and we're gonna pull together some kind of coalition just to get more people out in the streets, because I think we have a real basis to do it now. I think people are fired up, and I think we're ready to win marriage equality for everybody.